Oh, am I live? Oh, I'm live. Where my bubbles at? Good morning.
You all have watched and listened to Diddy's heartfelt apology. Mm. Y'all, I'm just gonna need a few moments, several seconds, because I just don't know where to start with this. First of all, Diddy is delusional and confused right now. When the second civil suit came out, didn't he issue a statement like enough is enough? I'm paraphrasing. Basically, he said these people lying on him for a payday, right? In a nutshell, is what he said. Okay? And he has maintained all of that, this is bullshit what these people are saying about me, and they're trying to destroy my good name and my legacy. Okay? Okay. And that's where he stood until yesterday. Damn near 2 days after the actual video of him whooping that child's behind like he did in that hotel hallway. What's insulting to me is in his apology, he said he was fucked up, which I knew that's what he would say. I knew he would say, oh, I was high. He was on drugs. And I'm going to need therapy and go to rehab. He said all that in his apology. He said he was fucked up and he had hit rock bottom. Puffy don't know what rock bottom is, number one. Number two, how the hell you usurp Cassie's rock bottom and make it your own? The only person that hit rock bottom in that video and in that situation was Cassie. Not you. You're on your way to hitting rock bottom, but you ain't never hit rock bottom yet. If you think what took place in that hotel in 2016 was rock bottom, oh, it's gonna hurt your ass all the more when you really see and feel what rock bottom is. Why would you use that term, you fucking idiot? How insulting. Nobody has hit rock bottom if you still got a private jet to fly around the world with. Nobody has hit rock bottom if you got several multi-million-dollar houses across the USA. Nobody has hit rock bottom if you rocking with Ciroc and all this you got going on and you renting a yacht $300 a week or a month, 300,000 rather, a week or a month. You call that rock bottom? Rock bottom is when you have nothing. Zip, zero, zilch. If you're lucky, your rock bottom is a situation where you don't have no place to go but up. You ain't never went down yet over the past couple of decades, but you on your way. Just want you to know that. I wish Whitney Houston's rock bottom was your kind of rock bottom. Whitney Houston's rock bottom was death, something she can't come back from. Cassidy's dumbass, along with her parents, allowed herself to be in a situation where she was financially dependent on you. Where she allowed you to control everything. That's part of the reason why you was able to do what you did. And I'm surprised in the 2000s that a young woman was reared to grow up and be dependent, solely, fully dependent on somebody. Shit, parents wasn't even teaching their children to do that in the 70s. I know my mother didn't. But no, Puffy. You're rock bottom if you're lucky. If you're luckier than Whitney. It would be like R. Kelly's rock bottom. R. Kelly is rock bottom. You haven't gotten there yet. You just on your way. Know the difference. What a big insult and slap in the face. So, 2016, your rock bottom year, you went to therapy and even went into rehab. Man, you had all this stuff going on in 2016 with Ciroc and this and that and the other. And in between the freak offs, when did you have time to go into therapy and rehab? Because the freak offs are still going on in 2016, 2017. Why are you lying to the people? You ain't gone into therapy and you haven't gone into rehab yet. You'll do all that when you get into the federal penitentiary, should they offer such services. See, when you ain't got no money and you hit your rock bottom, that's when you'll have the gumption to see a therapist and go into join some groups in prison and, NA groups in prison. You see the prison counselor and shit. That's when you will. Because number one, you ain't gonna have nothing better else to do. But as long as you got a private jet and multi-million, you ain't going to see no damn therapist. You ain't gonna leave your mansion to go live in a rehab for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, however long it is. You ain't doing none of that, and you didn't do it. Why are you lying to the people? You didn't do it because you hadn't hit rock bottom. Now, you might decide to do it in the next few days, trying to evade an arrest. But if the feds are looking for you, hey, I work in a rehab. Just recently, about a month ago, had an individual in there, been there about 3 weeks. The feds showed up, had to call him out of his group and say, oh, come up to the residence. We got to talk to you about something. He thinks we set him up, but no, we had to do what we had to do. The marshals was there. with a federal warrant. Brought him up to the residence, had him sitting in the community room, and in walks the two biggest marshals I've ever seen in my life. These were some big suckers, honey. Huge. They cuffed him. He was like, hey, I'm in rehab. You're not supposed to arrest me. Not when it comes to the feds. They wouldn't even let him take a toothbrush. Nothing. They took him and put him on a plane and took him somewhere. So don't think you can hide in rehab and bide some time to get your affairs together and shit. That ain't happening. They'll find your ass. You will not be no rehab at a secret location because your social security number gonna give you up. So I hope, since your house has been raided, that you have been getting your affairs together, getting shit in order. I hope you've been spending a lot of time or paying people to spend a lot of time to assist you and do that shit for you. And you got Mark Geragos on your side, on your team. I like Mark Geragos. I do. That's a lawyer with swag. Always liked him. He was an attorney for Scott Peterson. Who's Scott Peterson? You know, that narcissistic psychopath who murdered his pregnant wife back in 2002. You know what Mark Geragos did? On verdict day, if there's any day your attorney should be with you in court, it should be verdict day. Mark Geragos didn't even show up. How you leave your client standing alone on verdict day? Now that's fucked up, but I ain't mad at Mark Geragos for doing that. Claimed he had other business to take care of. Actually, he was working on the new allegations of Michael Jackson at the time. So verdict day came and Scott Peterson stood up there by himself in court to listen to the jury read the verdict of guilty. That was fucked up. That's one thing Mark Geragos did. Mark Geragos, if you guilty and you're his client, he does some slimy shit to you on the down low. Give you another example of Mark Geragos and his one of his clients. One of his clients was an attorney, Michael Avenatti. Now, if you're not into true crime and all that stuff, you wouldn't even know these attorneys. But Michael Avenatti, who I think was a rising star in attorney land. First of all, he was handsome, he was intelligent, he was an attorney. And you never got a whiff that he was a slime ball attorney, which most attorneys are, but I digress. But some of them, a lot of attorneys, you could just smell a slime ball all over them. Michael Avenatti never gave that scent off. He was actually an attorney. I don't know who he was representing, but like when the R. Kelly stuff started to go down, Michael Avenatti was out there holding press conferences speaking against R. Kelly. Yes, he was. Then all of a sudden, you didn't see him no more. Why? Because Michael Avenatti was robbing his own damn clients. I think his one of his clients was a disabled individual and won a lawsuit for millions of dollars, and Michael Avenatti robbed his own client of all that money. And then something else he was doing. But anyway, Mark Geragos fits into all of this because when he got in trouble, Mark Geragos became his attorney. Well, shit, Michael Avenatti was doing something nefarious and criminal concerning a Nike contract or something. Mark Geragos wore a wire and had a conversation with his own client for the feds. And that's why Michael Avenatti, I think he's still in prison today. I think he's been in there for about 5 years or so. But that's the kind of attorney Mark Geragos is. I'll just stand back and admire his swag from afar. If I had ever gotten into trouble and if I ever had enough money to afford an attorney such as a Mark Geragos, I wouldn't hire him. That's all I got to say. But go ahead. Hire slime ball attorneys. Slime ball attorneys that saw that video of you kicking Cassie in the head and in her ass like she's a dog. And people don't even kick dogs in their head and in their ass. Yeah, Mark Geragos would respect you. Represent you. But it doesn't mean that he respects you. He just respects the money that you're paying him. As far as what you're charged with, and if he knows it to be true or has a very strong inkling that you're guilty, if the opportunity arises for him to throw your black ass under the bus, well, guess where your black ass is going? Under the bus. Yeah, so I was having a conversation with one of my dear friends about Cassie, and we mentioned Tina Turner and somebody else, I can't remember, some other female. And I said, well, what did all three of them have in common? It was Cassie, Tina Turner, and I can't think of the other third woman. But what they all had in common was that they were completely dependent on these men who were abusing them. Because my friend was like, Tina Turner was abused by Ike Turner and she didn't leave. And that's why. And the older you are, or how do I want to say, Tina Turner was being fucked up and abused in the 60s and the 70s. That's a different time than being fucked up in the new millennium. That's a whole different time. In other words, it would have been harder to get out of an abusive relationship in the 60s, the 70s, the 50s, the 40s, and even back. There's no reason today why anybody should remain in an abusive relationship. There's too many opportunities available to you to leave the situation immediately. Sometimes if you're in an abusive relationship, you're going to have to jump into your rock bottom, which might be a homeless shelter. And once you get there, there should be no place for you to go but up. You can work at McDonald's and get some money together to survive, and you keep going from there with perseverance and determination. So again, for people like Tina Turner, women like Tina Turner in her generation, it wasn't so easy to walk away. And it was harder for Tina Turner because she had children and was married. There were some constraints she had to contend with. Cassie didn't have any of those issues. She didn't have no Diddy baby, and she wasn't married to Diddy. There was nothing holding her in that relationship for 11 years. Other than the money, the gifts, the trips, the red carpet. She allowed that shit to keep her in an abusive relationship, along with drugs. All kinds of different drugs mixed together. Just an old junkie whore you let this man turn you into. A junkie whore. And they think he care about you because he buy you a $10,000 gown to walk the red carpet in. You think he care about you because he buy you a Jaguar. Think he care about you because he got you an apartment in New York and an apartment in LA. But you, Cassie, without children and without being married, you requested and required $30 million or thereof. Tina Turner, married with children, the only thing she requested in court was her name. Rest in peace, Turner, with your bad self. She ain't won a motherfucking penny. The only thing Tina Turner wanted was her name. And walked out of that situation in that marriage with nothing but her name. So, understand what rock bottom really is. The shit Puffy talking about, that ain't it. So I shall continue to watch this bullshit from the sidelines. And I shall continue to provide commentary. And I shall continue to witness Puffy actually hit rock bottom. Because if he thinks beating Cassie in that hotel hallway was his rock bottom, he's due for a rude awakening. Praise God. Love on your family, love on your children, love thy neighbor, but above all, love yourself. Peace.